I'm pleased to bring in right now a member of the committee, Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. He's also a member of the House Judiciary Committee, two very powerful committees. Congressman Biggs, welcome into Newsline. It's good to see you today, sir.
Good to be with you, Bianca. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. All right, breaking down a lot of this, we know Joe Biden refused to come in and testify, but we do have Jeff Zients, we have others who tell a tale here, and it is very concerning. Joe Biden's not just his cognitive abilities declining, but the cover-up, right? We'll get to the pardons in just a minute, but you heard Jeff Zients basically saying that Joe Biden wanted to continue to make sure the president had enough time to himself. He's not overscheduled. Maybe they did that by, parking him on the beach. Such a contrast to what's happening right now. The ability for them to really insulate him is one part of it. And the ability now to question whether or not these pardons are legal really is at the crux of all of this. You found that Hunter was personally involved in a lot of these conversations when it comes to family members.
Yeah, that's right. And Bianca, never forget that the reason that they declined to do a cognitive test of Joe Biden was not because of his health or his concern. It was simply because they thought that it would be politically damaging. And so then when they get to the pardons section, they're inviting Hunter Biden in, or Joe Biden is inviting Hunter Biden in, or Hunter Biden is inviting himself. So you actually have a staff there that's appropriately there, and then you have Hunter Biden there weighing in. And these are the most controversial. These are the Biden family pardons. These are General Milley. This is Anthony Fauci. And Hunter Biden is weighing in. Yeah.
The one he did personally sign, of course, was for his son. I also want to talk about the report which details the Board of Medicine and your calls now to investigate the doctor, Kevin O'Connor, because a lot of this was the outward-facing stuff that I know Karine Jean-Pierre was sort of playing a little cute there about the communication. But we have a clip here from the doctor, I believe, if we play this, because he was pointedly asked about his patient, who was the President of the United States. All right, we don't have it right there, but we do know he was on the record in writing whether or not that Joe Biden could carry out his duties. And now people are wondering, how can he continue to practice medicine?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the point, Bianca, is he refused to answer our questions. He took the fifth while I was there and while we were all present. And the reality is, they made a political decision instead of a medical decision, and instead of an executive action. Because when he refused to have him take the cognitive test, what was happening is Americans rely on that with regard to the 25th Amendment. And basically they said, we're not gonna do anything about that. We're gonna basically hide that. And so, and they all admitted, I mean, you actually had testimony where they did that for a political purpose, not for a medical purpose, and not for the best of the country, but solely for Joe Biden's political future.
And the problem here, too, is this can never happen again. I mean, this isn't really about Joe Biden being a Democrat. And when you hear President Trump say this is a huge scandal, it's about the office. A lot of people look at this and say this went down, and it's not ancient history, Congressman. I mean, this is recent. There are a lot of players in all of this, and Americans will look to this report and say, here are the goods. But they really want accountability. And I know, as someone who sits in Congress, and that is, your mission, this time, will there be accountability for things that you have discovered that are so egregious, that really put the trust of the highest office in such jeopardy if they were to be ever happening again?
My hope and prayer is that the Department of Justice will actually finish the investigation and bring charges if charges are warranted. But this other part of it, Bianca, is I think, we have to revisit the 25th Amendment, because the incentives now are for exactly what happened here, and that is a cover-up of a declining mental and physically declining president. Those incentives are actually in our Constitution. That's why the 25th Amendment needs to be amended.
Well, of course, Kamala Harris had no incentive to do that. Real quickly, I have about 10 seconds, but when you look at all the players here, who do you think is the one who holds the most culpability? Is it Jill Biden? and the role she played as someone, who was really, really perhaps the closest, knew all this? Or where do you go with that? I don't mean to press you. I know we're tight on time, but with everyone here, who knew what and when. Who would you put the most blame on?
Dr. Jill Biden. I believe she engaged in elder abuse, and I think that she deceived the country, and I think that the people surrounding Joe Biden acquiesced to her desires.
Congressman Andy Biggs of Arizona, appreciate your comments today. This is a report that we will be continuing to cover. A lot of reaction coming in as it has just dropped. A pleasure, sir.
Thanks, Bianca.